Hello and welcome to today's podcast. So, today we are on episode 35. If you haven't listened to any of the recent podcasts, I highly recommend that you go back. There's been some absolute crackers, and this one is going to be just as good. So, today I am talking to a lovely lady called Farz, and we're going to be chatting about Bollywood dancing, which is really exciting. I've got so many questions. And also, we're going to be chatting about lupus because, as you know, this podcast is all about wellness, but there's so many different layers to that wellness. And it's really good to be able to get to speak to all these wonderful people and to find out what everybody else is doing in the world. So, without further ado, I will bring Farz into the studio. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey Kim, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. So I'm really excited about this. I have no knowledge about Bollywood dancing apart from a little bit that I've seen, on social media, which we all know you shouldn't really believe because it only gives a very small caption. So please tell us all about your love of Bollywood dancing and how you became a teacher.
That's such a good question to actually start on. So I've actually been dancing for over 10 years now. I started when I was, say, five or six. That was where I had my first introduction to just dance in general. So
Yes.
I've done hip hop, I've done contemporary, but the love for Bollywood actually has always been in me because growing up in an Indian household, that's what I grew up on, watching the movies, listening to the songs. And I think one of the first few moments of dancing was actually on the coffee table at home,
Okay.
where I was listening to all these songs and I just got up there and I started busting a move. So the love for dance started from there. And Bollywood was something I did not venture in at first. I started learning different forms. And the love for Bollywood, I guess, came back probably 3 years ago. 3 years
Okay.
was where I started going to a proper dance studio to learn the genre specifically. And yeah, it's been such a journey ever since.
Oh, that's amazing. So, how did you switch from just going and learning about dancing Bollywood style to actually becoming a teacher? Was it quite an easy transition for you?
I would actually say yes, it has been easy only because before I became an entrepreneur, I actually was a school teacher for 5 years.
Okay.
I was a primary school teacher, so I was dealing with normal academics, students aged from 7 to 12. So I've been doing that for 5 years. So teaching is not completely new for me.
Yeah.
However, teaching dance, that definitely is new. So I think once a teacher, always a teacher. So if you've been a teacher, no matter what is thrown at you, you are able to always find a way to teach it because being able to teach is not everyone's cup of tea. We know we know people who are great at what they do. They can know the craft really well, but being able to teach is a very different skill, which I
Yes.
feel you have to have it naturally. So the love for teaching has always been there. And I think after 5 years of being a school teacher, I realized, okay, you know what, I think I'm feeling a bit stagnant. Let me see what else I can do.
Yeah.
So then, I was thinking of, all right, why not, let's go back to my first love, which is actually dance, and let's see if we can make something of it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work out, right?
Yeah.
So let's just go ahead. And it's been 2 years now of this journey of running a dance business and being a
That's
dance teacher.
amazing.
Uh, Many ups and downs, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Oh, that's so good. And so, what sort of person Bollywood dances? What is there a certain age group? Is it? I don't even know. Like, is it just teenagers? Like, do you find everybody? Because actually, going like
Mhm.
I wasn't stalking your social media, but I was definitely having a look through before we chatted because I wanted to get a feel of what you were doing. And the music is very. You kind of start moving without even realizing. Just from looking through your clips, I could feel that.
Exactly.
So yeah, I can see
Yep,
the
yep.
love. So what kind of person gets attracted to your classes?
I think the best thing about Bollywood, I don't know, have you ever watched a Bollywood movie yourself? Have you?
I haven't. No.
You haven't? Okay. So the good thing I guess about Bollywood movies, or I actually hate the term Bollywood. I prefer to call it Hindi movies actually. The
Okay,
term
yeah,
Bollywood really, really irks me. But it's like an easier way to, explain to people what it's all about. But
yes,
if you watch the movies, Bollywood movies are the kinds that it can cater to the 9-year old in the family and also the 90-year old at the same time. So
okay,
it is great for all audiences, all age groups, and likewise Bollywood dancing is the same. So you can have kids doing it, you can have adults. Most of my students are actually if we look at the adult range, most of them are in their 30s and above. So I do have
okay,
people even in their 40s. I do have a student who's even in her 50s.
yes,
So it's a wide range because everything can be tailored according to your needs. It can be tailored according to the pace that you want, how fast, how slow. But I think the one thing that it doesn't compromise on is the fact that it's a very colorful, vibrant genre of dancing. So it's
yes,
like what you said, you don't even need to know the lyrics, and you start moving and you start
yeah.
tapping about when you see it. Yeah, so it gets pretty addictive the moment you do it. You should try it once, Kim.
Yeah, I
Let's do
think I
it.
should. I think I should. I love dancing. I also think that it's really lovely to hear that you've got such a range of ages of people doing it because for me as a health coach, I want people to be moving their bodies, and I'm always saying to people,
Right.
it doesn't have to be in the gym. Like all movement counts. Actually, this sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
Like once a week, go to Bollywood. You're going to be laughing, you're going to be smiling. You can't not, can you, with all that energy? It sounds amazing.
Plus, it's great cardio. Like in that one
Yeah.
hour, you've no idea how much you can sweat just by doing Bollywood dancing. I have students coming out and they're like, "Whew, I thought we were coming just for a normal dance class." I'm like, "Well, that's Bollywood."
That's amazing. I love that. Okay, so with that in mind, the fact that it is quite a cardio workout, let's kind of change our conversation a little bit because also the other reason that you're chatting to me today is that you do live with lupus. And
Yes.
actually, before we chatted today, I did actually go off and do a bit of research because I have heard about lupus, but I don't think I really knew that much about it. And so I'm going to presume that the people that are listening today are also the same. It's probably a word that's been thrown about in conversation, but they don't have much knowledge. So, can you explain for us what lupus actually is and what it means for you as a day to day living with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that you said, you had to go and do your own research because I remember when I was finally diagnosed, that I had lupus and my doctor was telling me, oh, okay, so my suspicions were right. What you have is lupus. My first reaction was, okay, what's that?
Yes.
Because I had no idea like what that was. So lupus, basically, if you look at like the medical terms, it is actually an autoimmune condition where
Yep.
basically your immune system attacks your own organs instead of fighting the virus that is into your body. So for example, right now, if I had the flu, or if I had any kind of viral flu, my immune system, instead of fighting the flu, it's going to fight my own organs,
Right.
so it
Okay.
attacks me instead
Yes.
of fighting whatever virus that I've gotten. So to put it in a nutshell, it is that. And from in a day-to-day life, I would say it's pretty much all the little things.
Okay.
So, for something as simple as, okay, waking up. I can wake up maybe at 8 a.m. and I've had like a good 8 hours sleep the night before, right? I could get
Yep.
up at 8. And the moment I've had my breakfast, I'm sitting down to do work at about maybe 9:30, I would be so sleepy and so tired, as if I've never slept for the night.
Right. Okay.
So the fatigue of a person, I think, living with lupus, it's times 10. And it's no joke. It really feels terrible and you feel very demotivated because you're trying to do work, and when you're an entrepreneur, if you don't show up for your work, no one else is gonna do it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's tough. It's tough on that sense. When it comes to energy, I really have to plan how I'm going to uh dedicate my energy to different things for the week. So I
Okay.
really have to make smarter choices. Like last time, if you would call me out maybe at 9 p.m., like Farz, let's go meet up for a drink or two. I'll be like, yeah, sure, let's go, no problem.
Yeah.
We'll sit down, we'll have a good time probably until I don't know 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I can't do that no more. I have
Yeah.
to prioritize my rest and my sleep. So rest is a very big thing in lupus. And I think when it comes to being very active, because my job is very physical, it
Yeah.
requires me to be very physical. Um, I really have to be very mindful of that. I remember when I first got diagnosed, and when things were still very fresh, I had lost a lot of weight. I had lost a lot of muscle, all those muscles that we build and we grow over the years of dancing. It was all gone after
Right.
being
Okay.
diagnosed,
Yeah.
all of it. So I felt extremely weak to the point where I wasn't confident if I could stand, actually, if my body weight could even take standing. Like, it was
Yes.
that bad. So, I would say when it comes to energy, I've learned now that I have to make smarter choices. I really have to prioritize rest. I might be the most boring 25-year-old on earth right now because I'm not going out as much. I prefer staying home these days. But I do notice that the moment I do that, I'm much better when I do work.
Yes.
And when opportunities come to you to actually go out once in a while, you actually enjoy it more. It no longer just feels like, oh, it's another outing,
Yeah,
you
of
know?
course. Yeah.
So is that take that I think I've learned so far. And the day-to-day lupus, I would say, is still very manageable. When it gets tough is when I think if I'm about to fall sick, if I'm about to get a fever, some
Okay.
cold, like even right now as we speak, on my right eye, I'm having red eyes right over here. So
Yes.
it's caused by an inflammation that recently just happened. So I'm in the stage right now of figuring it out. Okay, what could have caused this? What happened? I'm still trying to figure it out. But
Yeah.
these are sometimes all those surprises that we get once in a while.
Gosh. So you have to be really, really aware of your body, don't you, at all times for everything,
Definitely,
really. And when I was doing my
definitely.
research, it was saying that there's a lot of pain. So do you have pain in your joints? And yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because so when you have lupus, I think I mean, more of what my doctor said was that when you have lupus, arthritis is kind of like the cousin, so you get it as
Right.
well.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did have arthritis. In fact, I think the funny thing is that before I was even diagnosed with lupus, all we suspected all this while was that I had only arthritis. That was
Yeah.
the suspicion because I could not hold a brush. I couldn't
Okay.
pick up a cup sometimes. Like, it really, really hurts. And of
Yes.
course the knees are just another level because when you're a dancer, your wear and tear is much more than the average person.
Yes.
So you do use your knees a lot, like to walk, to run, to dance.
Yeah.
So at first it was only arthritis, and those pains came in the moment when the inflammation in your body is really, really high.
Right.
So
Okay.
if you don't watch your diet, you don't eat stuff that are anti-inflammatory, as they call it,
Yes.
then it's going to cause you much more pain.
Right. Okay. That's so
Yeah, so it
interesting.
it will go pretty bad on on some days. Some days are better than others, but otherwise,
Yeah.
I think the worst would be that I can't pick up a comb, like to comb hair.
Yeah.
So that's the worst. Yeah.
But yeah, that's tough. And so, um, is lupus something that is going to stay with you for your whole life, or is it something that they can not cure necessarily, but is there something that they can do to make it better? Will it go away as quickly as it came on, or is this you now and you're just going to manage it?
Yeah. So I think the one good thing about having a doctor like mine is that he really kept it 100% real with me. He didn't sugarcoat anything, but at the same time, he's there to reassure me that things will be okay. But it's just that I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
This condition, as of now, there is no cure.
Right.
So
Okay.
it is a condition that you have to live with and you have to learn how to manage.
Yes.
So what he did tell me, which is actually very true, is the moment when you're diagnosed with any autoimmune condition, it first gets worse before it gets better.
Okay.
Because during the first few stages of it, you are trying to figure out what triggers you, what causes the flare-ups. So it is during that time where it's the most frustrating because you are kind of like walking on eggshells.
Yes.
You're taking a risk in everything you do, everything you eat, everything that you expose yourself to. So because one way to find out what triggers you is to trigger it. So
Yes.
that is that we have no choice, right? So he
Yeah.
said that during that time, that will be the most difficult part. So you just have to pull through just that beginning stage, just that. The moment you find out what triggers you, what causes your flare ups, you'll be able to make your decisions better, and you'll be able to foresee a flare up coming even before it comes.
Yes. Okay. I understand. So
But it's
that
that
is
first stage that you really have to hold on.
yeah. And actually saying that makes it sound quite straightforward, but to live that, that's tough. Yeah.
It's tough because I mean, I love food. I love eating so much. However, that was one of the main things I had to change. Like, I think
Yeah.
the change was quite 180. Um, being, in an Indian household, Indian food is good, but it's not good if you have it every day to a certain extent. You have to add some greens, some veggies to your diet as well, which was something that I did not do earlier on. So I
Okay.
didn't add in fruits and veggies. If I'm honest, there are times when I would miss meals during the days where I have tons of classes in a day. What I would do is I'll wake up and I would just have coffee and I'll head out to do all the stuff that I'm supposed to do. So my
Yes.
body is surviving only on coffee
Yeah.
and not food. So, to some point, I do have to take accountability for, and a bit of responsibility that, what, we might have cost ourselves to get here to this point as well. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, I think the most difficult thing is actually the beginning stage. Is to just to figure out what's going on with your body. Every
Yeah.
little thing that now happens to me, I do get a bit worried. Like, this eye condition, I'm like, okay, what is this? Do we need to
Yeah,
go and get it
absolutely.
checked? How serious? So it's a bit of, you're living in a bit of a paranoia, I would say, at first when you have an autoimmune condition, and it's
Yes.
really about taking things one day at a time. Because if you
Yeah.
think far off or too far, it you land yourself in a place where you don't want to go.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yeah,
could become way too overwhelming. I can appreciate that.
very
Yeah.
overwhelming. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, goodness. So, on the one hand, you've got lupus, which you're trying to work out, you're living with. And then on the other hand, you're running a dance studio. So, how do you manage to do? I mean, there must be days when you get up and you think, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to dance today, if you're having a flare up so, yeah, how do you manage the two together?
Oh, that's a very good question. And if I'm honest, it's something I do ask myself every day. I really do, because when the nature of your job is so physical, and I always tell people, because everyone asks me, like, aren't you tired? You're doing like so many dance classes, in a day sometimes. And I always tell people that actually the dance bit is not the most tiring. The
Okay.
most tiring part is because you are not a student in that class, you are the teacher, right? So you have
Yes.
to be up and jovial, energetic. You have to hype your students up. You have to, they come to you for that 1 hour of escape, for
Yes.
whatever that they're escaping from their daily lives, right? So when they come to me, no matter how I'm feeling, I have to always be at 100, no
Yes.
matter what. That's why they're coming to me. So that's a big responsibility to live up to and to have. So keeping that in mind, there are days, I'm not going to lie, where dance becomes a bit of a chore. It
Yeah, I'm
really, really
sure.
does. And I guess, in those days, sometimes what helps is I do take a break. So what I
Yeah.
do is I don't dance. I don't dance. I probably sit down and maybe watch a movie or something, or maybe take a nap or read a book. Or it could even be, calling up maybe a few friends and seeing if they're free to meet up for coffee.
Yeah.
So it's about doing those small things. But on days where I really feel like I can't, right now, what I do is I actually take a step back. Previously,
Okay.
it would be like, oh no, we have to do it. The show must go on no matter what. So I do still do that to an extent, but now I weigh out the options. Like, okay, is this really super important that it needs to be done this week?
Yes.
If it's not, let's go and see if we can get some help. The biggest lesson for me is to reach out for help, because I don't
Yes.
do that. I don't do that. I think as an entrepreneur, we do have a bit of difficulty sometimes reaching out for help, especially if you're doing stuff on your own, because we've heard this time and again that, oh, we can be superwoman, we can do
Yeah,
everything, no problem.
absolutely.
Social media also shows us that sometimes, right? So
Yeah.
we are like, no, we can, we just have to work harder. But there comes a point of time where you do realize that no, you can't. At least not at the same time.
Yeah,
At least not at
absolutely.
the same time. So it's that's one realization I've had. And running a dance class, at least for now, what I've come to realize is to reach out for help. So because of that, I am actually looking into probably hiring like another dance instructor soon, where I could delegate some of the work, because at
Yeah.
the moment I'm just taking all the classes and I
Right.
can't
Okay.
be everywhere at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's time to, maybe expand the team a little bit. It is for
Yeah.
sure in the works.
Oh, and that's exciting as well, isn't it? Being able to expand your business, like, and for a really good reason. And it's really interesting to hear, that a lot of the things you're saying are things that I would coach people that I work with, prioritizing your rest,
Hmm.
making sure you get enough sleep, adding in all those fruit and vegetables, taking time for yourself. Like, it translates to all of us, doesn't it? It's super, super important. But also moving every day is really good for us. So do you think that I know that you're teaching dance, which is different from actually physically doing dance for you, but do you think that doing the dancing has helped with your health? Like, is it keeping your body moving?
Oh yeah, definitely. Apart from just the dancing, I do actually go to the gym now, like to do my own weight training and stuff for
Okay.
me. Because I
Yep.
feel, I need to feel strong. Otherwise, I'm not confident in anything that I do.
Yep.
But the dancing, on the other hand, and it's amazing that you picked up on it, that now I do dance mostly for other people. So I rarely get to do it just for myself now. But
Yes.
I do try to sneak in certain times during the week where I just do it for myself, where you just turn on the music and you're just freestyling in your own room, you're imagining like you're doing a concert in front of so many people. So
Yes.
that is my escape for myself every week. So I do that. And the dancing definitely helps, because when you have a lot of inflammation in your body, movement helps a lot to reduce it to a
Yeah.
huge level. And I always tell this to people, sometimes even if you don't feel like you want to move that day, but once you have moved and once you're done with it, you will thank yourself. You'll be like, oh my God, was I really thinking of missing that?
Yes.
So sometimes we really have to push ourselves and kind of remind ourselves. Like for me, I would always remind myself, okay, Farz, you know what? Remember when during that 3 months you couldn't walk? So,
Yeah.
now if we have a chance to walk, so why not take advantage of the fact that we are able to do that? Because there was a time where we couldn't. So I
Yeah.
think also remembering what you've been through, remembering where you started and how far you've gotten, and just having gratitude, I think helps a lot during these moments. So
Yes.
dancing definitely helps. It's just that I have to make a conscious decision to make time for myself when it comes to dancing, because otherwise nowadays I only do it for work.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's so important what you were saying, that it's just changing the narrative slightly, isn't it? And rather than I've got to go and work out or I've got to go for a walk,
Hmm.
I get to do this today. And how amazing is that? And yeah, you're right. The days
Absolutely.
that we don't want to do it are usually the days that it was the best choice for us.
We need it. The days that you don't want to do it, all the more you need it. I've learned that the hard way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if there is someone listening to this who has recently been diagnosed with lupus and are in that beginning bit where they're struggling a little bit and trying to find their triggers, do you have any advice for them that might help them, spur them on in their journey?
Oh, yes. Number one is please don't Google. Please
Oh,
don't do that. Oh my goodness. I think I had stressed myself out by Googling every single symptom that was happening to me. And what
yeah,
happens is when you read all these symptoms, you don't know which one actually applies to you, which one is actually your condition. So you are stressing yourself out by all these possibilities that may not be referring to you.
yeah,
And one major thing about autoimmune conditions is you really have to lower down your stress levels.
okay,
That's I mean, I remember having a conversation with the doctor and I asked him, so what causes lupus or any autoimmune condition? Uh, so that we know how to prevent it, or how do we tell people to prevent it. And he
yes,
said, there actually isn't a specific cause, but what usually causes it, like a major factor that they've realized that is common in all the autoimmune conditions, is that the people who have it, they haven't been able to manage stress.
okay. Well, that's interesting.
So it's to a point where your body responds to stress in a very negative manner because you probably didn't know how to manage it. Maybe you
Yeah.
are the kind of person that bottles everything up and you keep putting it on the back burner and you think it's going to work out. Sooner or later, it gets to like a crash mode and boom, you're done.
Yeah.
So managing stress is really, really important, I would say. So as much as possible, try to do things that don't stress you out. People, if they're stressing you out, cut them off. It really, really helps.
Yeah.
Learning how to distance yourself from certain people. I think having an autoimmune condition will definitely teach you that, because you start to realize that, okay, this is not worth my energy. This is not
Yes.
worth my time. And most importantly, it's not worth me stressing about.
Yeah.
So being able to actually be selfish is another one. I've learned that the moment I started making all these decisions for myself, there were a lot of people that exited my life, a lot.
Okay.
And
Yep.
yeah, those who you thought that they were going to be around for a while, you expected them to be there for you, and when they started saying that, oh, you don't hang out with us anymore, you don't, you're not like what you used to, so that's when you realize that, okay, these are the kind of people that are not for you.
Yes.
And when they're not for you, it's okay to cut them off. So
Yeah.
I would say don't Google. Be very selfish with your time. And I think more importantly is to really be patient. I think with this whole journey, if it's one thing that it has taught me, is you really have to be patient with everything, and most importantly with yourself, because every day will not be the same. It just
Yeah.
won't. And the faster you accept that your lifestyle will be different from others, because of the condition that you have, the better you will get at knowing how to handle it, instead of looking at it from a victim point of view,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
oh, I have this condition, of course you guys can talk, y'all have it easy, da, da, da. That's immediately victim mode, which
Yes.
I feel no one should be. Sure, we have a condition, right, it sucks, but we're still here.
Yes.
We're up, we're breathing, we're able to eat, we're able to go to the bathroom, we're able to still spend time with our loved ones. So it's not all that bad. It's just that yes, we have to make certain changes, and I feel certain changes actually are good because they make you more disciplined.
Yes.
And I feel when you're someone who's not disciplined, you become almost like a slave to your mood swings. So it helps
Yeah.
you to actually, be more focused and be able to do things that you want to do. So I would definitely tell anyone that is, newly diagnosed with any kind of autoimmune conditions, these main three things. Don't Google, be selfish with your time, and be patient with yourself. As long as you keep to these three, actually you're good. It's a
That's
journey. It's not gonna stop.
Yeah, that's fabulous advice. Thank you. I think that's really helpful. Um, and so we're coming sort of towards the end of our time. Let's bring our conversation back to Bollywood dancing. So,
Sure.
um, if we haven't experienced it, let's get out there and have a go. See if we can find a class. It sounds amazing. And if we want to watch a Bollywood film, where should we start? Like, is there a good one for us? I mean, I'm quite keen to go watch one now. What is there one that you would recommend us to watch?
I mean, I would always say that if you are going to watch it for the first time, definitely going back to old classics are a must first for you to kind of see how Bollywood has evolved to today.
Okay.
So one of the first few movies that I would definitely recommend is an all-time classic. You can actually find it on Netflix even.
Yeah.
It's called Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham, which is
Okay.
is everyone's favorite. It's like a household staple. It needs to be there.
Okay.
It's like I think a 3 hour movie, if I'm not wrong. It has all
Yeah.
good music numbers and great costumes, and from there, the moment you watch that, eventually you will be able to come up with a few because everything will be linked.
Yes.
So you have that, and the most recent one I think of today's times, which I thought was a fabulous movie, directed by the same director actually that did Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham. The
Yeah.
most recent one is called Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani, which means Rocky and Rani's love story. And I
Okay.
thought it was fabulous only because they also addressed today's issues about
Oh,
gender
right.
roles, about
Yes.
stereotypes. Yes. So
Okay.
I mean, I'll definitely message you the titles so that you can go and find them. They are on Netflix
Yeah.
and I think Prime Amazon. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing.
So you
Yeah,
can
do
definitely
that. And
find
then
them here.
I can make sure that everything's in the show notes so that anyone listening, they want to go and have a look. It's definitely
Yes.
worth investigating.
Yes,
Oh,
you
that's
should. I
fabulous.
think I think it's good to go from past to present so that you can see how things have evolved over time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out to talk to me today. I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. I think I've learnt loads. There's loads of more things that I want to go off and have a look at now. So it's been brilliant. Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Kim.
Farz.
It's been great. Thank you for giving me the chance to be able to share my story on your platform. This has been amazing.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you. Okay, thank you everybody for listening. I hope that you enjoyed that as much as I did. I think that's absolutely fascinating. There's so much information there. I will make sure that I put lots of information in the show notes so that if you want to find out more about Lupus, you can. If you want to know about more Bollywood dancing or maybe the films, then we can do that as well. And yeah, thank you so much. And I look forward to talking to you all again soon.